Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And so first of all, I want to thank you to come back to this workshop, the second day of the Trust Calibration for Human AV Interaction workshop. I would like to thank all the organizers for preparing this workshop first. So today, the second day, we have three parts. The first one is invited presentation. We have two invited presentation. The second part is paper presentation. We also have two of the paper presentation. After that, we still have a green writing part. The first day of this workshop, we discussed a lot of things about the overtrust and undertrust. Today, I also want to introduce the background of this workshop again. This workshop is to explore how to calibrate the human's trust, including the overtrust and undertrust in the AV. The trust calibration is not only for the driver, but also for the road users, for example, the pedestrian and the cyclist. I also show some example to explain why the overtrust is important issues for the AV and ITS. For example, the driver may overtrust in the ABS and the ACC system because the driver may think the system will stop the car. You can see that. So the problem is here, the driver may don't understand the limitation and the performance of the system. On the other hand, the undertrust is still important issues for the AV and ITS. For example, in the pedestrian AV interaction, if the pedestrian does not have enough trust in the AV, then they will confuse and feel dangerous. This undertrust problem will reduce the social acceptance of the AV, I think. Yesterday, we had three revised presentations. We talked about the human factors challenge in the AV and types of the trusts in the AV and how to measure them. Besides, we also talk about the trust issues in the pedestrian AV interactions. Meanwhile, we also had four great paper presentations, including the concepts of the trust issues, using the HMI to make the driver understand the states of the system. And we also talk about amazing design for the autonomous bus and using the active communication for the takeover. So today, based on the discussions yesterday, I would like to have a free talk to share my viewpoint of what is the overtrust, undertrust in the AV. Please note that there's no time for the question. Please give me some feedback by the chat. Simply speaking, I think the overtrust in the AV is the human is trusting the AV can respond the driving task, but actually the AV cannot. On the other hand, the undertrust in the AV is the human is not trusting the AV, but the AV can respond the driving task. Yesterday, Philip and Kai also introduced the least trust model. This model based on two dimensions. One is the human's trust, and other one is automation capability. I summed up this model to show where is the overtrust and undertrust, here and here. So I believe that the human's trust in the AV is subjective, and the AV's capability is objective things. I still have a question that is, what should be here? Is capability, reliability, or trustworthiness? For example, in the least model, he said this part is capability. Let me think. The capability of the level 3 AV is lower than the capability of the level 4, right? So can we say the level 4 is more trustable than level 3? That is my question. So to answer this question, I think the ODD, operational design domain, is very important. Of course, the Professor Ito will also introduce the ODD in his presentation. The ODD show a range of the system's capability, from the of the capability to the maximize the capability. Of course, because of the sensor noise or some environmental factors, the actual capability may be lower than the maximum capability here. I call this part is reliability. So I think if the human trust is here lower than the minimum capability, then it's an undertrust. Besides, if the human trust here and here, I think it's an overtrust because it's higher than the reliability of the system. So how to make the human understand the reliability here and the ODD, the range of this part, is a main task of the trust calibration, I think. Besides, I would like to show very interesting things. This is my favorite series, Dunning-Kruger effect. It shows a relation between the confidence and knowledge. This is a confidence. You can also think this is a trust. And this one is a knowledge. Based on this effects, I would like to say, if someone knows nothing to the system or to himself, this one may easy to overtrust. This one may easy to on the top of mountain stupid. So I would like to say, if someone have enough knowledge, this one could trust himself practically. Therefore, I think the knowledge is very important things for the trust calibration. Okay, let's go back to the AV and ATS. In my viewpoint, if user misunderstood the foundation, purpose, process, and performance of the system, then the user may easy to overtrust or undertrust. Those four things is a four dimension of trust defined by the Lee and Mori. So therefore, for the trust calibration, I think calibrating the trust is near equal to calibrate the mental model of the user. And it also near equal to calibrate the situation model of the user. So how to calibrate them, it is a still open question. Okay, that's all of my free talk. Because no time for the question, please give me some feedback by the chat. So let's go to the first part today. Is an invited presentation. The chair is Professor Suzuki.